Why would the president commute George Santos's 7-year sentence after Santos pleaded guilty to being what we really don't want in our politics? He only served 84 days. I'm sure one day is too many for any of us, but, you know, he did the crime, but he didn't have to do the time. He admitted to stealing from people, some of them elderly, cognitively impaired, campaign donors, all for his own kind of selfish uses of luxury goods, Hermes this, and Brooks Brothers that. So why did Trump do it? Well, what he said was basically that he voted GOP reliably. And all of the things I just told you that he admitted doing wrong, Trump dismisses as being rogue. Look, this isn't out of the ordinary for the president. He has a long history of pardoning and commuting sentences of people who actually did it, right? Chris Collins, Duncan Hunter, Michael Grimm, just to name a few. Why? It's fealty over fidelity to justice. And I believe people are sick of it. Hence, the biggest movement for change that we've seen that at this stage dwarfs what MAGA was. So the question becomes, why did he do it? We know why Santos would want it. Anybody wants to get out of prison. But what does Santos want now, and what is the lesson in all of this? So, joining us, former Republican member of Congress, newly out of prison, Mr. George Santos. George, thank you for taking the opportunity. Maybe you know best. Do you believe the president would have pardoned you if there were a D after your name instead of an R?
You know, I appreciate you for having me, Chris, but let's just face it. Yeah, he would, because he pardoned former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich, who is a Democrat, staunch Democrat. So I think it's disingenuous to think that this is political. But I understand the concern and I understand your question. The president has the power of the pardon of clemency, and they're plenary. I'm humbled. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. I think my sentence was hyperinflated. You just mentioned a few former members who were pardoned. I'll give Michael Grimm, who's another GOP congressman from New York, who only received 18 months after he concealed almost shy of $1 million in extra income from Congress at the time. If you put that in comparison, I had an overinflated, an over-politically charged sentence. I'm not saying I'm a choir boy. I understand and I agree. I was a terrible person. I did terrible things that I regret. You don't need to tell me that. I don't need to hear it. I hear it from myself and my own thoughts, and I've made that very clear.
Well, George, I'm not here to judge you. It's not my place. That's what that was the system, and you pleaded guilty. I agree with you about Blagojevich, but what are you leaving out? He pardoned him after he backed him. All right? And that matters more to Trump than the R or the D. I'll give you that. But you can't cite me him pardoning any Democrats because he just doesn't care about party. I think it's all he cares about. Everybody else you named is a Republican. And look, I get it. It's a little kind of ugly and obvious, but I get it. But here's what I don't get. I've been listening to your interviews out there, and I'm not here to judge you, but I will judge your answers. And you say, hey, look, man, I'm going to do different going forward. The commutation was specifically worded to not just remove the punishment of time, but also of money. Now, when you look at who you took the money from, don't you think if you want to get to a better place with anybody, let alone in your own opinion, you should be working to pay those people back?
Look, Chris, it's a question that was posed to me for the first time yesterday, and the answer was I don't have an answer at the moment, but the answer is morally, it's the correct thing to do. My legal team is working to find out avenues. You can't just nilly-willy go up to people and say, oh, here's a check. There needs to be an official mechanism and an avenue to do so. And when the time is right and I have the financial means, I am going to do it. I've already committed that I will do it. I think you're right. I think everyone who's posed a question is right. Look, I don't have to, but I want to, because it's the only way that I can resolve my quarrels of the past and to right the wrongs of my past and then move forward. So you're not wrong. I will be looking into it. My attorneys are already, brainstorming. They're working on ways that we can do it legally, and we will be doing it. And I will make very clear the day that I accomplish that, I will announce it so people can know it was done. So it's not a matter of dodging it. I don't have to, but I want to, because I want to do what is morally correct. And I guess that would definitely be a great start for me to prove to people that my actions are different than my past words and actions and transgressions.
Is George Santos's commutation proof that President Trump doesn't believe in justice? He believes in what works for just us, the MAGA base.
That's not true. I think President Trump has a long history of clemency and of being a very, very merciful individual. People like to just throw whatever rhetoric works. Chris, I'm sorry. I listened to your monologue. You made some valid points about the media not reporting on certain things because it's not either sexy or it doesn't give ratings because it's not divisive enough. How about we stop trying to create a there and just accept the fact that the president has the plenary powers of clemency. He chooses to do it as he wishes, just like former President Biden chose to pardon his entire family. And again, I'm not saying you specifically, Chris, because I do remember you were outraged. I remember watching your show because I do watch your show. And you were outraged justly so because he lied. He said he wouldn't, and he did. Now, the president did, and I didn't see this mass outrage. I'm really trying to struggle to understand how is it that a lot of people out there can square away President Biden pardoning Hunter Biden in an egregious attempt, but I'm getting clemency. After I served 41 days in isolation, in solitary confinement, in a federal United States prison, denied basic human rights. I'm not saying that that makes up for everything, but prison is not a nice place. It's not meant to be nice, but it's supposed to be rehabilitatory, and we're not rehabilitating people, not at least in FCI Ferreton under the care of Warden Kelly.
Listen, I got you, but look, I know your situation. The sentence may have been more than the other guys, but blame your lawyers. It was within the guidelines. And George, you know how it works in prison. A guy like you, when he gets threats, they put you in protective custody so you don't get, the shit smacked out of you. I mean, that's why they do it.
Protective custody shouldn't have the same consequences of disciplinary custody, and that's where the issue
What would you have had them do, George? Leave you out there? What do you think was going to happen?
Chris, I was there, obviously, because of security. I'm not allowed to discuss the confines of the compound per legal. You're not supposed to. It's illegal. But I can say that there was various ways that they could secure me. I didn't have a threat inside. I had a hoax of a threat that was made on the outside. Right. Essentially, somebody saying they were going to break into prison to murder George Santos, which we all knew was false. But again, they had to do their process. The process was inhumane, was dehumanizing, and I vehemently rebuke it and reject it. And I don't think any American, in the name of protection, should be treated the way I was protected.
Well, I get it. And you should know people get treated a lot worse, George, than what you've been through. And most of them never get to even know the president, let alone have him bail them out. And just so we have clear eyes on it, as I ask you what this is all about for you now, because I was a little surprised you went public, to be honest. But people are pissed off, not because they don't think the president has the right. It's because they don't think how he exercised his power is right. Because you checked a lot of boxes for people of what makes politics terrible, what you lied about, how you lied about it, what you denied, and who you extorted. So it looks like he's rewarding that behavior and that he didn't even really care about it. That's why.
I think this is amazing. I can sit here and point out to you lists. I mean, look at Dick Blumenthal. Have you ever brought him on your show and give him the same Riot Act rating after 20 years of he misleading Connecticut people?
You think I'm reading you the Riot Act right now?
I'm just
really,
Chris. I'm being honest with you and I'm being direct. Have you brought Dick Blumenthal here and dressed him down on national television?
He admitted he lied and he didn't commit a crime. Okay.
I mean,
come on, George. Look, all I'm saying is this. You move forward any way you want, but if you want people to see you different, you got to be different. That's all I'm saying.
I am different. The thing is that I'm not going to sit here and accept people to judge me as if I'm
not judging you.
I've been listening to people on TV for the last 5 days. To some extent, if you watch some other coverage, some of your former colleagues over at CNN all they're missing to say is that I'm the Antichrist. That's literally as close as they're coming, as if I'm this horrible human being that I've killed and I've mangled and I've maimed. And it's very frustrating because I'm trying to do the best I can, and I will continue. I won't let my critics define me because I refuse to be fueled by hate. But at the same time, I'm going to fight back when I feel it's unfair, the comparisons that are being drawn. Again, I have a load of respect for coming on TV and taking the tough questions. I do them. You've seen me on TV, Chris, for years. I've always come on and taken the tough questions from anybody. I don't run from the questions like most politicians in D.C. I actually wish most politicians in Washington, D.C. would actually face the music and take the tough questions instead of saying no comment or hiding or actually just going ahead and resigning. So at least I do the tough part.
Well, the tough part's telling the truth, George. I can take all the questions, too, if I'm just going to bullshit my way through them. That's all I'm saying. Look, I'm not here to judge you. I'm not giving you a hard time. I got to be honest, George. If I wanted to give you a hard time, it would be a very different situation, but that's not what this is about. It's about using you as a lens on what matters to this administration and getting a feel for what this is going to be about. And we all know what comes next. The American people will know what you show. That veteran who's going to sue you because he says he's owed the money, I don't know what his legal rights are, but I know if you wanted to make it right, you should start your list of who you pay back with the guy who's on the screen right now. And I think you know that, too.
I want to make this very clear. Mr. Osthoff, who you have on your screen, is very well aware that what he is saying is untrue. Mr. Osthoff in 2014, I was not indicted, investigated, or accused formally by the government in any capacity of wrongdoing in this case. I submitted every single proof of evidence, the funds, the note from the veteran saying the dog Sapphire was too long gone and the surgery would result in, she had a 15% chance of survival because Mr. Osthoff took too long to bring her and look for help, but not alone. If she did survive the surgery, he didn't have the means to continue care because he was homeless at the time. So we made a decision at the time to disperse the funds to save other dogs that actually had a chance and that allow Sapphire to have whatever quality of life she had left to continue with Mr. Osthoff. He doesn't agree with that. I understand. People have to make tough choices in certain industries. Rescue is a tough business. I feel for Mr. Osthoff. I feel for his dog. I did not take a penny from Mr. Osthoff or the people in the organization who donated to the organization. We helped other animals. We provided that. I provided all of that when I was questioned on it, hence no charges. So Mr. Osthoff is free to say whatever he wants because he has that power under the First Amendment, and I support him to continue to say, but I would challenge him to at least be truthful when he's saying these things. I've never even met Mr. Osthoff, to be honest with you, Chris. So I think it's very unfair and disingenuous that everybody wants to pull heartstrings saying that I swindled a homeless veteran, that I hurt a dog. I've spent an entire life dedicated to rescuing animals, to helping people, and also I have a profound respect for our U.S. veterans. So this is a case, this is a perfect example of media sensationalism where they're taking a story, distorting it, and then using it against me when I wasn't even officially or at all considered for investigation or charges in this case.
George, it'll be the subject of litigation. We'll see how it comes out. Just because you're not charged, they had plenty of other stuff to work with. But again, let's end where we began. You are not a victim of anything other than your own actions, George. And that's what the system found.
Chris.
So, look, we'll see what you do going forward. Everybody deserves that chance. The president gave you a gift. We'll see what you do with it. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. You bet.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.